Right then, this is a walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.6 EX automatic diesel. Lovely car, finished in this fabulous metallic grey. The car's covered 60,000 miles, or fraction over. It's been really well looked after. It's in lovely condition inside and out actually. The front of the car, obviously the new style front end on these facelift models. Looks absolutely fabulous, very clean. Lights and lenses are clear, intact without any cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet is exceptionally clean. If there's a stone chip, it's going to be very small indeed. Near side of the car, panel works absolutely beautiful. No indentations that I can see there at all. Near side front alloy, the one that takes all of the bashing, and there's not a mark on it from what I can see. Near side rear alloy, exactly the same, lovely condition. And come around the back, all very clean and tidy. The offside of the car, again, really nice and clean. The offside rear alloy, absolutely fantastic condition there. It really is in fabulous condition. And the offside front alloy again, absolutely lovely. Yeah, super condition that car. Coming to the boot area, absolutely enormous boots on the car, and this one's been kept really well. And so it's not always the case with the CR-Vs because they're normally quite heavily used. Coming to the back of the car now, apologise for the glare from the sun there. The leatherwork again is absolutely superb in the back of the car, lovely and clean. Coming to the front of the passenger side, again it's been kept really nicely there. Finally come to the driver's side, again all very clean and tidy, and driver's seat itself, again fabulous condition. So inside the car now, engine's running through section, so dashboard we can see illuminated. You can see there sat nav working exactly as it should. Everything's in lovely condition in here again. Just pop the car into reverse, that lovely clear parking camera, all working exactly as intended. Up to the main dash binnacle, you see 60,434 miles. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. So finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.6 EX automatic diesel. This car is registered YY15RKN and has a mileage of 60,434 recorded. The reason for all of our videos, and actually especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's looking at any of our cars online, they actually get to see the very car advertised in operation. Sorry, just turn that off a second. The reason we feel it's important is very simple. It's because, like so many people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in descriptions and photographs, only to get and find out when you drive the car there's an obvious fault that shows up, so hence that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and hope is obvious that it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered to test drive in the car. So coming to the car, obviously it's been a very well looked after car, and it drives like it. Don't want to be a complete spoiler, but I can't fault it in any way. It just drives perfectly. But there we go, just done it. Push button start, engine starts instantly, settles to a completely smooth, even idle. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. This is the higher horsepower twin turbo engine, so I think it's best about 160 horsepower. It's a brilliant engine, really does pull very well indeed, and matched beautifully to the gearbox. It's a lovely combination, I have to say. On the move, it's quiet, refined, economical. Being a Honda, of course, they're incredibly tough and reliable, just normal good servicing on them. But it is a very nice engine and gearbox combination. The gearbox Obviously it's one of these sort of quick shifting DSG style gearboxes, 9 speeds from memory. The gear changes are so quick and so smooth, you hardly feel them. It's an absolute marvel. It really is, all of that operating absolutely perfectly. Steering on the car, Honda know this market better than anybody. The CR-V is the best-selling SUV in the world, and it's easy to see why, because they made it just so car-like to drive, way before other manufacturers kind of caught onto the idea that you didn't have to have kind of a commercial van-style driving experience with them. And the steering's part of that. It's beautifully weighted, makes the car feel very solid and secure on the road. It's not a sports car, don't get me wrong, but what it does is it relays the information really nicely on the road. It's very precise in the way it goes about its business and works with the chassis brilliantly well. But it's also, by the way, there's absolutely no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and the track's absolutely dead straight as well. The chassis itself is one of those, because again, what they're trying to get from the car is, ultimately it is a nice big family car. So first and foremost, it's got to be comfortable, which it does brilliantly well. The ride is beautifully damped. It deals with pretty much all imperfections very, very well indeed. Only the harshest roads will catch it out as it would any car. But show it some corners, and unlike some which will kind of plod their way through, sort of nose heavy with lots of lurching and lots of body roll, it controls it all really, really well. So for the sake of argument, the corner coming up in front here now, it's one of those slightly odd corners. It's sort of slightly off camber, tightens a fraction, but when you go into carrying a bit more speed than I would do normally, hardly turn the wheel, go through completely unflustered. It's really good, and that means it's particularly good for rear seat passengers who aren't getting a lot of that motion going on, but really nicely done. There's also absolutely no sort of rattles or clonks coming from underneath the vehicle that shouldn't be there. The whole car feels ludicrously tight. It's like a car that's done a couple of 100 miles, not 60,000 miles. I'm just going to give the brakes a good shove, make sure no one's directly behind, but it's a really good brake pedal on the car, nice and powerful. There's no kind of pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedals, all exactly as it should be. It's finally coming inside the car. What videos can never get across, of course, is build quality. You can say they're well built, but when you experience it, it's just a really solid, brilliantly bolted together car. And it's always been my pet hate with the motoring press that they always laud the usual candidates, the German manufacturers, because their doors sound thunky and they've got lots of squidgy plastics. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but that doesn't actually translate necessarily into long-term ownership. I've been in plenty of those cars, and after 5 or 6 years, it can be quite rattly, buzzers from the interior, all that kind of stuff. And yet this is just brilliantly done, because Honda know it's a family car, so things are going to be spilt, dropped, knocked, and they build them tough. Superbly done. It's also a really nice place to sit and drive a car. You've got a fantastic driving position. You're obviously elevated, as you are with all these types of cars, but you've also got really good visibility. You've got quite a low dash line in front, so you can actually see the bonnet, which is a minor miracle. But on the open road like now, if you want to change lanes, you've got these massive wing mirrors. It all comes together to give an experience where you don't feel intimidated by the car at all. It's just it's a car you just jump in and drive very comfortably. The same goes with the dashboard, because although it's very, very highly equipped, it's a car that after a couple of days of driving, it all becomes second nature very, very quickly indeed. All working perfectly. Sat nav, you can see, dual zone climate control system that pumps out absolutely ice cold air. All the switch gear, like everything in a Honda, has that lovely tactile feel. It feels beautifully engineered in everything you press and everything you touch. Heated seats again, working as they should. Dash binnacle in front, which is beautifully detailed and labelled. Relatively minimalist by modern standards, and all the better for it, because you just want the information, glance at it, look away, and that's what it does. And then you've got this lovely small diameter steering wheel that's obviously leather bound. Feels absolutely like new to hold. It's all in super condition here, it really is. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V, because not all of them are, but you'll notice that there's no buttons or anything to activate it. It does it automatically. Honda worked out very, very quickly that most of its customers will be doing what I'm doing now, driving where you don't need four-wheel drive on. So basically, it runs in front-wheel drive pretty much the whole time, which is the most efficient way to pull a car along. Only if it needs to go to four-wheel drive will it do it itself, and it does it via the traction control system. So if the front wheels start to lose grip, it instantly and seamlessly brings in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive, and it's incredibly efficient. You know, I've got a CR-V which we tow our caravan with, I say every time, and we've never come close to getting stuck with it. And the other advantages are fairly obvious. By not being on the whole time, you can get through your tyres less quickly, and the more basic systems. You put far less mechanical stress through the car, and you tend to use less fuel as well, so it's kind of a win-win. As I said right at the start, you know, the car does drive beautifully. It's a reminder actually why these are so sought after. You just jump in this car and you could just be like driving like a new car. It's got that wonderful feeling of engineering to it.